Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, a member of Cascade United Methodist Church and a resident of South Fulton for over 30 years. Mayor Edwards is the proud father of 2 adult children and 4 grandchildren. Without further ado, I bring you Mayor Edwards.
Good morning. Can everyone hear me?
Good morning.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Good, good, good. Thank you so much, Councilwoman Rao, for that introduction. You know, Councilwoman Rao is like my leaning post. We talk frequently and have sometimes passionate discussions about our city, and I really, really appreciate her. One of the only few people to call you at night after a hard day after a meeting would say, "Mayor, are you all right?" So I love Catherine Rao. She's been great. And thank you so much, Catherine, for that. To President Powell, Vice President Wilkins, I'm no stranger to you guys. You know, we've done everything, including picking up paper together.
Absolutely.
Yes.
On Cascade Road, and you all are doing a fantastic job with that association. And it's associations like yours that help this city of South Fulton to rise to higher heights. So I would say to you, continue to work, continue to do the good things, and help us to rise to where we need to be. But anyway, y'all already come. I think Ms. Councilwoman Rowley said enough about me. You all come to hear about South Fulton. I'm so excited to be up this morning and living in the city, this great city they call South Fulton County. I mean, South Fulton. I keep saying county. This great city that we still call South Fulton. It has been a pleasure to lead the city along with people in the council like Dr. Rao to get us to where we are. And this has been a good journey overall. There have been some stumbling blocks here and there, but we've managed to stay calm and keep focused and move to the next level. So let me tell you a little bit, you may not know. So let me tell you where we are and who we are. You know, South Fulton was chartered in May 1st, 2017. It is the 3rd largest city in Metro Atlanta in population. Atlanta has 498 some thousand people. Sandy Springs has 108,000 people plus, and your city of South Fulton has over 100,000 people, making it the 4th largest unconsolidated city in Georgia. Now, when I say unconsolidated, here's what I mean. Many cities long ago incorporated with counties, joined together, Macon Bibb, you remember that one? Macon Bibb, they joined together, making them much larger. But we're the 8th largest city in the state. But when you take out the consolidated cities, then we become the 4th largest. Another interesting fact you need to know is that Atlanta is 133 square miles. Big Atlanta, 133 square miles. 3rd largest city in the state in Fulton County, which is South Fulton. We are 108 square miles. That gives us a lot of opportunity. If we look at all the tall buildings that Atlanta has, and you think about how big they are, but in land mass, you're not talking about much bigger than we are. The 2040 population is estimated to be about 124 plus thousand. So we're growing, and you all are helping us grow. So that's a little bit about why you live in city of South Fulton. Let me just add a few other things. One of the reasons you want to live here, is because we are 23 miles from downtown of the busiest and the capital city of this state, and that's Atlanta. You could probably reach downtown Atlanta within 23 miles from any place in our city, and that's great. We have great opportunities for land. The land costs have been considerably low, but I'm telling you right now, they're growing up, and people are consistently, our population in terms of people are coming in is skyrocketing. A lot of zonings, a lot of houses coming in. Another reason, your proximity to the airport. You know, people coming in and out of Atlanta, you know, we can get to the airport around in about 15 minutes. That's very, very important to us. And it's very much important to business people. Another reason is, believe it or not, we have rail. We're close proximity to rail all around our city. Even on Fulton Industrial Boulevard, there's rail. Hasn't been used in a while, and we may have to take into consideration how we incorporate it back into our city vision. And lastly, you have a highway system, 285 and others. You're right in the midst of a highway system. So transportation is very, very important to us, and we're continuing with our transportation efforts as we look at our corridors as to how we move people around from their home to their businesses and elsewhere. So having all of that being said, why start a business instead of South Fulton? I can't think of one place not to start one. We're a new city, 14 years old, 4 years old, not 14, 4 years old. There's a lot of businesses that we need, kinds of businesses that we envision in our city, from office to white tablecloth restaurants. And our constituency in South Fulton is ready for that kind of business. But we have a very, very smart population here in South Fulton. We want you to come to us and do business with us. But we want to make sure that your business is right. We want to make sure that your customer service is what it needs to be. We need to make sure that your product is what it needs to be. We are getting a lot of our people who are going to other places like Buckhead and City of Atlanta because we don't have the businesses here to accommodate them. So what I would say to you is this: when we bring exceptional businesses to our community, make sure that you patronize them. That's very, very important for you to patronize them. We just acquired Fulton Industrial Boulevard, one of the largest industrial boulevards in this region. And thank God, over the years, it took us about almost 4 years to get it, but thanks to the governor and our delegation, we finally made it over, and we're finally now the owners of Fulton Industrial Boulevard. What does that do for us? It gives us an opportunity to bring in industrial development to the city. You know that our tax base that we have for the city of South Fulton is how we make our living, to put it real simple. We are surviving in the city off of the tax base of residential properties, and we need to balance that out. And one of the ways we balance that out is that we bring in commercial businesses and bring them here to offset some of the cost of our residents having to pay taxes. So we're excited about Fulton Industrial. And the good thing about Fulton Industrial, it's where industrial businesses need to be. They don't need to be next to your home. They need to be in an area where industrial is provided, and they must be environmentally friendly. So we're very, very excited about that. Relocate, for all of the reasons I've given you, you have to relocate to the city. You should do that. So let me tell you about this whole concept that we have in the city. And if you saw my State of the City address, we talked about one word: rise. And we believe that, you know, since I've come into it's a new city. 4 years, we didn't have anything. When I was commissioner, I got up that morning, I had an office, I had staff, I had everything. When I became mayor of the city, I got up that morning, I didn't have anything. No place to go, no phone, no anything. And so we have risen over the years. We have really, really risen. And we want to make sure that everybody rises with us. So what does RISE stand for? Resilience, inclusion, strength, and experience. Next slide. And experience. You know, COVID-19 took a year out of us. We didn't know. Councilwoman Rouse did not know that she was going to head a city and a district under COVID-19. No one knew. We had to do some drastic things. I was one of the first mayors to enforce a mandate for masks. Of course, the governor took that out about 2 or 3 weeks later. But we were the first to say, you're gonna have to wear a mask. We were the first to say we're gonna shelter in place, not have people around in big clubs and arenas. We're gonna make sure they do the 6-foot distancing. And we, first of all, were one of the first cities to issue a curfew. And we did all these things because we knew that we had to be right for our community. We knew that COVID-19 was a bad epidemic, and we would listen to the science, and the science told us the things that we do, and we did them. And in most cases, we were one of the first to do that. Let's talk about resilience a minute. We have done everything during this, especially during this COVID time, to make sure that not only just our constituents was safe, but also our employees. We spent $240,000 in rent and mortgage assistance. Is that enough money? Not even nearly enough. But you know, we gave out all that we could, and we have some possibilities as we go in the future. Pretty soon we're giving out more. But that touched some families that we had in our community that really, really needed that mortgage assistance. And the good thing about the mortgage assistance did not go to the person themselves. It went to the landlord or the rental person, who suffer more than anything but rather than small businesses. It pains me to see that some of our small businesses did not make it. But a lot of small, courageous businesses stood there and fought off and are still here. And we got together and we made $660,000 of small business aid. Is it enough? Not nearly enough. And I've talked to some of the businesses in your area, businesses like Gaucher's Breakfast Bar, who are scuffling for not only not having the money, but they were scuffling not getting the workforce that they needed to keep their businesses going. It's people like her who had to push back. Frederica up at the Sandtown Pub, and others other names that I could call. But they were strong individuals. They held in there, and we assisted them as much as we could. A third set of people that I want to talk about just briefly, and those are the men and women who we call the first responders, the policemen, the firemen. You know, during this whole year more of COVID-19, the police still worked. The firemen still answered their calls. And they did this by putting their lives on the line each and every day, by exposing themselves to what could be a COVID-19 situation. So we felt that we need to reward them in some way. You know, sometimes attaboys are good, but sometimes money is even better. And we put in what we call the gladiator benefits to pay these gallant people, these heroes, a little bit more than what they make during this time. And they were very, very appreciative of it. Also during the COVID, we must understand that when COVID first hit, nobody gave us money. We were doing things like PPE and things that out of our own pockets as a city, with the hopes that the government would find some way to reimburse us for things that we paid for. But we had to do it. We put in $560,000 in infrastructure and security upgrades. Our overtime budgets was something like $1.24 million in overtime for essentials for, once again, those heroes and those employees that were drastically needed to run this city. Thank you. Next slide. You know, you hear a lot about we're the blackest city in America. I'm all right with that. All right. You hear that? You hear we're supposed to be Wakanda, and I hear that. But I also know that Wakanda is a city in a comic book that was produced by Marvel Comics. We deal with the reality of what we have now. So let me just tell you, let me just think about this for a minute. When we talk about diversity, which is something I don't talk about a lot because I truly have not been invested in that principle. The principle what I've been invested in is inclusion. South Fulton is a melting pot. I got to tell you, I heard one constituent came to me that they said, Mayor, I saw some white people running down Cascade. I said, they wasn't running from nobody, they live there. And people of all cultures and all walks of life are coming to this city. And we have to embrace that. So what I mean when I say inclusion, you know, you can be an all black city, 100% all black. But if you're not including people, what does it matter? So it's important to me that we include in this issue of inclusion, that we have everybody, that we prioritize the needs of all our residents. And we're all on one accord in fighting inequality. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, I understand. But I think we're stronger together because our communities is not going to continue to be one segment based on some of the things that I've said to you earlier, some of those things as to why you should be here. When I say why, it doesn't go to just black folk. When I say why, I'm talking to everybody who wants to have a fully enriched opportunity and a strong quality of life, because we are stronger when we work together. Next, please. We always talk about being strong and having some of the things that we need to have to make the city what it is today. As I look at Atlanta, and I look to the nation as a whole, and they talk about crime is everywhere, things that are happening just the other day at Lennox Mall, and how things are changing. I want to say to you this: I am so proud of the city of South Fulton and its police force and its police chief, Chief Meadows, that we have for the last 2 years. We have double digits in crime being down in our city. I don't know if any city around here can say that. Double digits. And I can tell you this, and I get a crime report every week. Last one I got showed that we had double digits decreases in every district that we have. That includes Old National. That includes the 3 districts in Old National. All 3 of them were down by double digits. And we want to continue to keep that trend going forward. If you want to come onto our city and you don't want to do right, you want to invade our quality of life, you want to create mischief, you're probably in the wrong place. And we want that message to go out all over everywhere. Fulton Industrial Boulevard, we now own. But let me say this to you. Owning one thing and being prepared to keep it going is another. We all rejoiced and clapped and applauded for the fact that we have Fulton Industrial Boulevard, and I was one of them. But now we have to place the infrastructure in place to make sure that Fulton Industrial becomes better, that Fulton Industrial becomes on the rise and not be what it used to be. And I can tell you this, just recently, I just negotiated with the county $4.4 million for resurfacing Fulton Industrial Boulevard. That was money that was already supposed to go to Fulton Industrial Boulevard. And I didn't want to just take the boulevard and leave my money. So we had to bring the money with the boulevard. And also we're doing things like what other funds that should go along with the boulevard that maybe we are not getting, that we have to negotiate with the county as to why we feel that it should be there. Big question of, well, when do we start getting the taxes from boulevard? We're answering all of those questions, and we're moving on pretty good with Fulton. They've been pretty cooperative in our attempts to do things. We also approved $3 million in public safety vehicles. You know, when I became mayor, I said two things in my address. One is public safety, and the other is education. And I said that if we get a handle on those two things, our economic development and other things will fall in line. And I still believe that today. We're investing heavily in public safety vehicles. Just recently, we just approved 3 new fire engines for our fire department. A lot of the equipment in the fire department was very, very old. And some of them were poor condition. We're in the process right now with our new fire chief, Chad Jones. And the fact that we want to replace every one of those vehicles. I want a new fleet. And we're in the process of doing that right now. We also just purchased 40 new police cars. As of last month, we purchased 40 new police cars so that we can have officers with the type of equipment that they need to make sure that we have a safe community. Those are things that we promised. And along with people like Dr. Rao, myself, and others, those are things that we have to continue to do to make sure that people are all right. My favorite saying, and Dr. Rao knows this, no one will go where they don't feel safe. And the other thing, as we talk about that, and we talk about economic development and growth also, no one will go where their children cannot be educated. And I'm proud of some of the things that's happening with our schools. The only downfall I have is the fact that it is not told. Their story is never told. And so we need to tell our story of our economic our development in our school system. We just launched a $16 million, 170-mile road repaving. Now, that's major because we do have streets that need our attention. But what I want to tell you is this. We understand, I understand, Dr. Rao understands, members of the council understand that there are roads out there that need improvement. But along with all of our other things that we have to do, we set aside $16 million under the URA, which is the $17 million we got in capital improvements, for things like repaving the roads. So we have a list of roads. If under the T-SPLOST, if in fact your road is not on this list, it could possibly be on the tier 3 list. But rest assured that we're getting to all the roads as fast as we can and as fast as the money will take us. Under the URA, which we passed this year, we were very excited about the capital improvements. I think that you're going to start seeing things change. You haven't seen a lot right now because of the fact that we're in a COVID season. But I'm here to tell you, we have the money and the capital improvements are coming. A lot of that money is going to our parks and recreation to upgrade our facilities and make them look better. So we're really going to be able to improve our recreation, our arts through this URA that we have for capital improvements. South Fulton beautification, everybody wants a beautiful city. You know, I know we all talk about, and I know that Rich, I know that you understand being on Camilton Road, Cascade Road, and Councilwoman picking up trash every other Saturday. How people how people come in and just throw trash all over everywhere. We're coming up with a new sanitation program. I think this new sanitation program will aid us in helping people to not throw trash in the area. We have teams just recently. It's been my goal. And all of you Greeks out there, I want you to know this. I have been trying to I'm going to get every Greek sorority and fraternity to adopt the road. I just did that with Delta Sigma Theta about a month ago. They adopted Stonewall Tail. On the 24th of this month, we'll be erecting signs where Alpha Phi Alpha will be adopting Butner Road. Now there are 9 sororities and fraternities, and we want them to be leaders in this. And I will be talking to a bunch of them about how you get on. The Omega Psi Phi have already committed, and they want to do Old Fairburn Road. So no one has turned me down so far, the ones that I've talked to. So we're excited about that. And not only sororities and fraternities, your community can adopt the road. Your group can adopt the road. It doesn't matter. You can adopt the road by yourself if you think you can do it. But we need to have some assistance in terms of, we want to have a beautiful community. And one of our biggest issues that we have is litter. And we're going to fight hard to make sure that litter. The other thing is, when you talk about beautification, listen, we have so much automation over here. When you have a pothole, you can report it. You can go to our C-Click Fix. And nobody does more C-Click fixes in this city than Dr. Catherine Rao. I'm planning on disbanding code enforcement and just let her ride around and just report stuff. But no one has more C-Click fixes than Catherine Rao does. So we have a lot of things you can do to help us, to help you, to help yourself. The Wolf Creek Amphitheater and the 2 art centers. You know, it's kind of like, for me, it's kind of like being kicked out of my house and then coming back and buying it back from the owner. That's kind of the way I feel when it turns to the art centers and Wolf Creek. We should have Wolf Creek. It's just some technical things that have to be worked out, but I'm sure that within the next 60 days, you know, we do have Wolf Creek. There's some things we have to work out between the county, and hopefully we'll get the amphitheater up and going within the year. The 2 art centers, they're functional now. We're going to be opening up these centers and stuff in a few months after COVID. So we're looking forward to doing that. We're going to be bringing in Atlanta Opera, Serenbe, and other theatrical productions. I want that to be a theatrical place. I don't want that to be an answer to Wolf Creek with a whole bunch of concerts and things that is the theater. And that's what it should be. On the other side, you know, our children, people are, what about our children? Let me tell you. Do you know that your child can be taught anything from violin to dancing? Right there at our art center. We need to get our children involved in that. Our list each year for our classes is not even crowded because people will not bring their kids to the center to partake in this. That's unfortunate. So I hope that this year comes up, that our dance classes, our computer classes, you know, our instrumental classes, all of those things are filled so that children can experience what they need to experience. You know, experience means a lot. Reputation means a lot. And I have found that over the years, I have shared experiences with a lot of elected officials. And through that time, I have been able to form solid relationships. And because of that, I have been able to cut some of the red tape in terms of things that are supposed to come to this city. You have to work closely with your partners, with your city, county, local, and federal partners. They have to know you. they have to respect you, and you have to know them, and you have to respect them. So that was the whole thing with getting Fulton Industrial back. It was about relationships. Having the relationship to go to somebody and say, listen, this is what I want to do. Here's how I want to do it. Let's do it together. And those types of relationships get you everywhere. My project that I got now, that I've been working with Georgia Power, is called Red Oak Historical District. We're excited right now that we have the Main Street offices of Collab South, and that is an opportunity for small businesses to learn, to experience, and to grow. And we're very, very happy about Collab South, who's run by our economic development person, Mr. Christopher Pike. We have offices in Red Oak area, and we have offices on Old National Highway. So we want to make sure that you all learn about Collab South, be in partnership with us, and let us help you to be the small business that you need. The Red Oak Historical District is a project, like I said, working with Georgia Power. It's going to change the whole focus, the whole outlook, the whole facade of the Red Oak area. You know, Red Oak is one of our most historical sites that we have in our city. It's probably the only place that has its own post office. So we want to situate that, and we want to make sure that our end of Roosevelt Highway looks good. So that project is also in the making and coming soon. We have a development authority, and it's up and running. It's chaired by one of our people. He's a doctor now, Dr. Baker. He's chairing that. It's up and running. We look to see more things coming through that development authority. We look at our vision for that development authority is real high, and we're going to continue to monitor what they're doing and how they're doing, even though they're not a part of us. But we do also have what is called the Downtown Development Authority. And let me tell you also, we have two tax allocation districts. Both of these we have a tax allocation, a tad east and a tad west. This is going to help us spur more economic development in terms of commercial. So we're excited about that. It was passed. Thank all of the people in South Fulton for going to the polls and voting for us to have this. And I think you're going to see a return on your investment very soon. One of my other favorite projects, and so is a project of Dr. Rao, and that is the creation of a city center. We spent a lot of time trying to find out where would we want to put City Hall. And one of the first places that we thought about, and we worked very hard to get, was off Camp Creek Parkway. However, the landlord, I don't know whether he wanted to do it or not wanted to do it, but he would not cooperate in terms of really coming up with something that we could buy the property. Most of you know where that property is. It has a 30-acre lake on it. If you go down there sometimes, people park cars on the side of the road and go down and fish. But that was the area where we wanted to. But okay, we do have a plan B. And plan B is very, very exciting because it also gives us the opportunity to bring the amphitheater and the library and other things into our town center. So we're in the process of doing that. We're in the process of negotiating with the land right now from the county. I want us to have a city hall. You all deserve a city hall, and I don't want to wait 10 years to get one. And so we're working very hard to create a town center. Our zoning updates are coming on fine and comprehensive plan. You know, let me just say this to you. I hear all the time, well, I don't want that by my house. Or I hear, I didn't know that was coming. I'm begging you guys, be a part of the plan. Don't wait till after the plan and find out, well, this is not what I want. The biggest problem with the comprehensive land zoning updates and comprehensive land use plan, it's only one big problem. And that problem is you're not involved. So when we put these posters out, when we send this thing through our email, I want you to flood the airways, because your comments are valuable to us. And without that, we don't know how we should go. So it's very, very important. And we're closing up on this thing. I think we have a meeting come up pretty soon. Please check our email, and I'm sure Dr. Rouse keeps you posted. And it's on the 16th of this month. I want you to be there on the 16th of this month. I want you to be more people than I've ever seen in my life. Because historically, it's only been a few people who have come in that have decided what your zoning and comprehensive land use plan should be. And that's not fair to you. So you can see South Fulton is going through resilience, inclusion, strength, and experience. I'm going to engage all of you. Just like I said about the comprehensive land use plan, I'm asking, as we rise up, you rise up. Because I can't be who I am if you're not who you are. And if we come together as a family, as a government, assure you, we will rise to greater heights. Thank you, Ms. Wilkins. I appreciate you so much. You're in the Madam President. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. All right, with our audience, if we may, anyone has questions, put it in the question Q&A.
Rich, this is Bobby. I think
Okay.
I've captured all of the questions
Okay, great.
from Q&A. Should I proceed?
Yes, please, Madam
Okay,
President.
thank you. Thank you so much, Mayor, first of all, for that awesome presentation. We so appreciate you. The first question that we have, and I believe Dr. Rowell may have answered this, is from DJ McRae, and she wanted to know the nearest hospital in the city of South Fulton area.
Dr. Raw, have you answered that? Dr. Raw, is she there?
I did. We
All right.
have actually 3 hospitals that abut the borders of the city. Most people either go to Wellstar on the east-west connector, Douglasville, and Piedmont Fayetteville is a popular one. One of the things that drive hospitals is the certificate of need, which is regulated at the state level. In fact, me and Representative Roger Bruce are going to have a town hall on July 21st to talk about what that entails. One of the things we are working with across the city is to get more urgent care facilities. But me and the mayor actually have also been working to bring Walmart Health to our city. And so we hear the concerns that residents have about having access to medical facilities.
Absolutely.
We're working on that.
Absolutely.
Very good, thank you. The next question comes from Charles Manifield, I believe is his name. And he wants to know, Rich, if the Zoom will be available for rewatch.
If the what?
I believe we have recorded the Zoom. Will it be available? Will we be able to post that on our website after the fact?
Rich?
Rich? You're on mute.
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Manifield, we will definitely have that posted on our website at www.cascadebma.org. Is it .org or .com, Rich? I'm sorry.
.com.
I always say .org, .com. I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay, and the next question is from JC Sebastian. He first wrote a note indicating that Cedar Grove between South Fulton Parkway and Rivertown belongs to him. So thank you for that, JC. And his follow-up question, Mayor and Dr. Rowell, is what is the process to go about adopting a road?
Well, the paperwork is only 2 sheets uh, long. And I think that our website has the information, but I know that our city clerk gets involved very much with that. So you may want to also contact the city clerk's office to get it to you. But it's a very simple process. It's 2 pages. After that, the question is always asked, well, what do I have to do? It's a minimum of once a quarter. And I'm saying minimum now. It's a minimum that you clean up the area once a quarter. But we do anticipate people will clean up more than that. Corey, you want to say something on that?
No, Mr. Mayor, thank you for that question. That pretty much is the process. Roussan Francois in the Public Works Department is the lead person for that, but it is about a 6-page application, but there are only 2 pages that require filling out in terms of, the location that you want to adopt the road, as well as, signing liability waivers and things of that nature, and then also the actual requirements. So I'll be happy to place anybody in contact with the Public Works Department to complete that paperwork.
Corey, could you give them that number while you're on?
My telephone number is 470-809-7711. And of course, you can email me at corey.adams@cityofsouthfultonga.gov.
Thank you, Mr. Adams.
Okay, very good. Next question comes from Miss Janice Smith, and she wants to know in regards to the emergency vehicles, will they transport patients to Wellstar and Piedmont Fayetteville?
Okay. We don't have, that's another thing we're fighting for. We don't have what is called a transport license. And so, we contract with, right now we're contracting with Grady. And Grady does all of our transport. I wish we did have a transport license. We've been trying for 100 years, but the only city down in South Fulton that has a transport license is Hateville, believe it or not. But the people who transport our people to the hospital is Grady.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. We have Miss Joan Brooks, who wants to know about senior citizens housing. And I know, Dr. Rowell, you would love to take that one.
Dr. Rowell?
Thank you for the question. Actually, seniors are the fastest growing population in our city. And in fact, when we looked at our data, we found out in District 1 in particular had the largest population of aging seniors. And so one of the things we have been trying to do is bring senior housing to our city to meet current and future demand. Prior to our incorporation, we only had 1 senior housing facility in the footprint of the entire city, and that is on Danforth Road, QLS Villa. Now we have approved at this point, I think, 4 facilities across the city. 2 are in District 1. One is on Riverside Drive. Is actually, the first phase had 80 units and it's at capacity. It's already filled. It filled up really within about 4 weeks of opening. The second phase of that would bring 70 units online. That's under construction now. And we have another market rate of facility that will be on Reynolds Road. They anticipating beginning construction at the top of 2022. And we have one that has been approved in District 7 on the right near the Fayetteville line. So we are trying to bring senior housing dispersed throughout the entire city for those seniors who may want to downsize. So we are working to bring those options to the city.
Let me add also, and once again, Dr. Ross done a great job at that. But the important thing for seniors is that they want to live in place. And so as we look at development, we make sure that those things that help them live in place are put into the development itself. And remember that whatever we do today for seniors, we do for ourselves tomorrow, because we're all going to get old one day. And so we're very, very, when you come to us talking about senior facilities, not just a bed where I can stay. I mean, do I have a rec room? Do I have a video room? You know, do I have a card room? Those types of things we also want to bring into the development.
And just to speak, we are also trying to find, we've gotten feedback from residents, they are looking for more cottage style, smaller homes
Right.
where all the maintenance is done and handled. And so that's gonna be something we're gonna continue to work on
Right.
for those who are looking for sale options.
Mhm.
Very good. Thank you. We have a question from Marshall Taggart. Recognizing that services are available for the special needs community on the north side of town, are there any accommodations or plans for accommodations to ensure that we can engage our special needs community?
Absolutely. Go ahead, Captain. You were about to say something. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I was about to say, I thank you, Mr. Taggart, for raising that question. That's an area that I do think we have not talked about as much as we need to. I'm going to encourage you to make sure you participate in that comprehensive plan meeting where we are, because that's really going to forecast where we're going to be focused over the next 5 years, but really longer term, looking out 20. And so those special housing needs and programming, please mention that. But we have not done a whole lot in this area at this time.
The other thing, let me add, and she's absolutely correct. Once again, she talks about being there to say something, to get something done. And I want to reiterate that again. You got to be there. But, even for our kids, our special needs kids, our school system, we need to make sure that they're able to accommodate special needs kids. Banneker High School probably has one of the biggest classes of special needs children that we have. So local government and schools still have to work together so that we can have the best quality of life for everybody.
I will mention that as a part of our park master planning, we are looking to make sure our playgrounds are for children of all abilities. And so that's been pretty much the extent at this time, but we do need to go deeper.
One other thing too, Dr. Rao, I forgot to mention, and Mr. Adams can attest to this, I have been trying to construct a Miracle League ball field for years. Now I have the plans, now I have the location, and just about the fact now of getting the money. Imagine this, a special needs child who cheers her brothers and sisters and friends from the stands can now be on the field to be cheered. And I've been working with that a long time. And hopefully I'll bring that to fruition so special needs children can play ball.
Very good. And Mr. Taggart has a follow-up question as it relates to adults, the special needs adults community. Any plans for that group?
Per our charter, technically the city has no purview under human services. But where we do have it is in Parks and Rec and some of those areas that we mentioned that we've had discussions at that level, but human services are provided through Fulton County government. And so, but again, the areas that we do touch, like housing, those kind of things, we can address it from the city standpoint. The human services provided by Fulton County government. So our commissioners are a source of a resource for us and who we should be advocating to increase what's available in South Fulton County in general.
And she makes a good point. We got to know what government's responsible for what. We get a lot of inquiries about stuff. Y'all pay Fulton County taxes outside of the city taxes, and you need to know what your Fulton County taxes actually go for. And when it comes to human services, that is an area that's the responsibility of the county.
Okay, very good. Melford McRae has a series of questions, so I'll try to capture this to the best of my ability. I love the presentation. It's truly wonderful. My 3 questions are, As we drive to the north area every day to Gwinnett and Forsyth counties, we notice along the way, this is the first question, we notice along the highways, there are 30-foot walls protecting the homes and areas up north along the highway. However, as you come south to our areas, none of these walls exist. Is this GDOT, and how do we protect our folk? Question number 2. Do you want to answer that, or the next 2 questions are pretty short?
I think Catherine and I would rather.
Okay.
It is
GDOT.
GDOT. It is definitely GDOT. And once again, we got to understand where people's responsibilities lie. And that is definitely a GDOT situation.
I will share that I think there are some coming at 285 and 20. GDOT has a major project that's going to redo the whole interchange at 285 and 20. I think we should also advocate for the type of barrier, because I too have noticed that when you go into Cobb County, their barriers look different than the metal barriers you can find along like Fulton Industrial, along 20. Those are metal. Theirs look aesthetically different. And so I think asking for that. I actually have a town hall meeting tonight, and I have a representative for GDOT there who will be answering questions about projects in our area. I think that's a great question about, the selection of the materials for the sound barriers and what plans are for this immediate area. So if you can't participate, I'll make sure I'll get that question asked this evening.
And one other thing, I don't want you to leave here thinking that we're just trying to shove things off on other governments like the county and GDOT. We are still advocates. We are truly advocates of what we want in our community. So I just don't want you to think that we say that's GDOT and we go home and go to bed. That's not the truth. We still advocate for you on that level.
Thank you for that, Mayor, because I think I did see a response where someone wrote that the responses were interesting. So I do appreciate you stating the fact that we're in this together. And Melford's next question is, how do we get Georgia Power to fix these leaning poles along Cascade and the double poles all over our area of District 1?
Dr. Rao, you want to answer that?
Yes, in fact, I have Mr. Luke joining me on my town hall meeting tonight. That is an issue. I've gotten and seen numerous calls. One of the things our new ordinance deal with is in the future that these lines need to be buried. But we're dealing with old infrastructure, and I think that's something that we're going to ask our public works to work closely, particularly as we deal with some of these projects forthcoming, to coordinate and let's start moving in that direction, because we also get hit heavily with the storms. We have a lot of power outages because, if the poles are impacted, we got hit really hard with this last storm, it's important that we start moving in that direction. So, and our current ordinance does move towards, for particularly new projects, that all of that has to be buried.
Well, the city manager and I are engaging in conversations now because of the storm, Dr. Rao, and that is the aftermath of the storm with the trees down in the right of ways and things of that nature. We got to find a way to do that better. We're finding that what the power companies are asking us if for our help in is that to cut the limbs back periodically away from the line. That would help us a lot. So we're in the process of having those conversations right now.
Okay, very good. And his last question is, will we ever get a fishing spot in our city?
You can come to my backyard.
And I think the Mooney Lake is an option.
The Mooney Lake, yeah.
You can go fish there at any point.
Yeah, that'll be a good option for you.
Okay, and I believe this is our last question, and that is, while we love the beautification of the roads and sidewalks, and this is from DJ McRae, she's questioning trees. Will trees be included in the beautification process?
Absolutely.
Yay!
That's what we like about being in South Fulton, is that, you know, we still can keep that rural effect as we move forward. So I'm a very big advocate of trees, and I'll let Dr. Rouse say something, but I can say yes to that.
And we're looking at initiatives, bringing forth like the 1 Million Trees Initiative, which is a regional initiative that seeks to make sure that we replenish and reforest urban areas. You know, with development, you lose some of that, but we also require that developers recompense when they take out trees. So again, coming up with a strategy to make sure that we are in fact replenishing them across our city. And diversifying what you see. We got a lot of greenery. It's a lot of pretty flowering trees we could add to our landscape and canopy as well.
Right. And of course, we have the tree bank too, Dr. Rao, that we can use to compensate for the loss of any trees.
Okay, very good. I think I've researched all of the questions. I just scrolled back through our chat room, and the only thing I think I may have missed is from Charles, and this may be Mr. Minifield again, but he's asking about healthier eating options on Old National.
Old National is one of our businesses and really one of our most profitable quarters. And we're engaging now when we bring in we got Collab South over there now, and then we'll have a Main Street manager on Old National. And the reason why we're doing all that so that we can engage in conversation about the kinds of businesses that we'd like to see on Old National. We're trying to change right now the perception of Old National. And once we change that perception, we can talk about the new things that we need to bring in to make our vision come forward.
Okay, very good. Okay, did I miss any questions or anything in chat that need to be addressed? If so, please move forward and put it either in the Q&A section or the chat room.
Yeah.
Bobby?
Yes.
Yeah, Dr. Rao, we talked earlier that I did get a question that was sent to me about speed bumps. I did send that to you. I can't remember the street. Can you address that?
I think someone from Schofield Drive asked,
Yes.
which is in District 4, but this policy applies no matter where you live. If you can petition, it's a form you can get from the Public Works Department, and you have to get a certain percentage. I want to say it's, don't quote me, I want to say it might be like 70% of the houses on the street have to agree to the installation of speed bumps for that to occur. But the Public Works Department also has to really assess the area to find out what traffic calming they would actually recommend, because a lot of times people just jump the speed bumps, but the traffic engineers actually study the area and look at traffic patterns, and then they make recommendations about the solutions. That's really the first step. You should really request a traffic study because you indicate there's a lot of speeding or whatever, and let the engineers come back as opposed to jumping that is speed bumps. They may come up with something different. Roussan Francois is the contact person.
Yeah, let me say this too about that. One of the things that we have to protect against in this city is our own liability. And when you start talking about speed bumps, and that's why they make the majority of the people sign the petition, because they want them until the transmission go bad because they went over a speed bump. And then they look to the city to be compensated for that. So if we're gonna do any of that, we're gonna make sure all our I's are dotted and our T's are crossed to make sure that we don't have that much exposure to liability.
All right. Did you have anything else, Rich, before we close out?
No, I text you. I don't know if you saw what I text.
I did
Oh,
not. Let
okay.
me take a look. Okay. Okay, this is a question to the Director Leftwich. Okay, we want to know about communication plans for the city of South Fulton, as well as beautification plans. I think we may have addressed most of that, Rich, for beautification, unless you're concerned about Cascade Road corridor in particular.
Always.
Yes, I thought so. So we're going to put you on the spot, Mr. Gary, specifically about beautification for Cascade, the Cascade Road corridor. Everyone who knows anything at all about me and Rich and the mayor and Dr. Rowell, they know that Cascade Road corridor is very near and dear to our heart. We're very passionate about keeping the community beautiful. And I noticed yesterday that the ramps are just steadily getting worse and worse. Not to point out anything in particular, but that is just such an eyesore for me as the entryway into such a beautiful community. So, and I know that is GDOT, let me just say that first and foremost, you know, but even the medians, if there is any plans at all to help us with the beautification of that.
And thank you very much for the opportunity to share. When we talk about the South Fulton Beautification Project, we are definitely in infancy of getting that off the ground. The request early on in the discussion, early on from the council, was to develop an anti-littering message program and anti-littering, and we expanded that to beautification. So the cleanup, the anti-litter is a huge part of this. One word that we've heard today over and over from the mayor is engage. And this is going to be a process where we, part of the South Fulton Beautification Project is a group called Litter Busters, who we will work with to plan litter events, to get these volunteers signed up for litter cleaning events. And so that is how that will work. We are providing a mechanism for people to engage and get involved. That allows people to have a role in bettering their own city. So with the beautification projects, absolutely, we're going to be working citywide, but as we grow this list of volunteers, then we will start planning opportunities for everyone to get involved. In terms of communication plans, without a specific question, we are definitely focusing on a broad array of communication tools. Just in October, we launched our newly redesigned website. It is much easier to use, much easier to navigate through. I am happy and proud to say that in the 6 months since then, we have seen a 16 to 17% increase in visits to the page. So we're definitely growing that traffic as we expand our social media channels as well. One thing you may or may not be aware of is we have an app, special phone app for the city. And now that the pandemic is looking like we see light at the end of the tunnel, this app will be twice as useful as it has been. It works in two ways. One, a quick demonstration of it, you say there is a concert or a music festival at the amphitheater when we're up and running. You can check the schedule in this app. You can buy tickets. You can schedule an Uber to get there. You can check the weather. You can look for local restaurants. You can make reservations. If you're going with a special person, you want to order flowers or something else, all that right there with the help of this ad, rather than you having to go back out to this app, rather than you having to go back out to Google and perform all those searches. That is one side of the app where we really have taken control and really run with this app during COVID. Is it's also a news source, and you can get instant notifications of city news. If we have a street closing, we can reach you right through the app. So we post city news, you can find information. It's sort of a mini version of the website. And that app is called It's My Town. And you can come to our website, City of South Fulton, ga.gov. Right there, there's an icon titled Connect, and that is how you can connect with all of our communication tools. And quickly, we have just relaunched, rebranded our city newsletter. It is now called South Fulton Voice. We've streamlined it. We have gone to twice a month rather than once a month. The goal is to be weekly, so that you're not bombarded with a lot of news at one time, some of which may be 3 or 4 weeks old. You can sign up for our newsletter at that connect button as well. We have built an internal communication program, knowing that if we are better informed as a staff, we can serve you better. If we're connected more as a staff, we can serve you better. So those are some of the major things. Off in the distance, we are looking at some version of a television channel. We will never compete with Fulton County's channel, and never, I don't think, be on that level, but we definitely are going to start building something on YouTube, at least as a YouTube channel, better organized, and we will do some programming. South Fulton 101 is a program that we do sporadically that we would like to do every month, where we address a topic, address the latest issues or happenings in the city. We are looking at creating a podcast. We have created a blog that may be interesting to you on our website that the mayor mentioned, the URA and a lot of the T-SPLOS projects. Blogs simply called Where Your Money Goes. And that's what it is. Here are some of the projects we're doing with URA funds, with other tax funds, like the Cascade Road improvement. We've tracked it closely. The purchase of new squad cars, that the details are there. The installation of workout areas at Trammell Crow Park, and the one that we're doing at another park. So these things are there for you to track. So we're trying to hit a bunch of areas, and we want to put together a master email list of HOA leaders, business merchants groups leaders, so that when we have a press release we issue, boom, we can put it on that master list and you all receive the latest news as we put it out. So we will be investigating that as well. And then finally, we are actually hiring a new position, replacing a position. And what I've learned through 30 years of doing this is community relations is not separate from communications. And we definitely are going to create a community relations position that provides opportunities for feedback, provides opportunities for you to plug in and be engaged. And we want to create and this is in the early stages of thought and planning, an ambassadors committee where we meet with that group once a quarter. The mayor meets with them, we meet with them, and we say, here are the big things happening in the city, here are the achievements, here are the things on the horizon. And that allows you to be ambassadors and share that in your discussions with people. But it also then allows us to kind of ask the questions, what are you hearing out there? What do we need to be aware of in your daily lives? So that becomes a more grassroots, in-person, not totally relying on the digital world way of gathering feedback and sharing information. So we've got a ton planned. We look for us to really grow in the next year or so, as we really we've updated our departmental motto to informing and engaging residents to build a better South Fulton. And we definitely want to inform and engage. So that's the two things we're kind of doing as we retool and reshape, refocus the department.
Very good. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. And I would just like to address just a couple of more points before we close out in respect to everyone's time. And one is Mr. Isaac Abanka, I believe it is, wanted to know about tonight's town hall meeting. And in case you've not seen the link, Mr. Isaac, Dr. Rowell has posted that in the chat room. I also wanted to address a comment from Ms. Sattler. The city staff is working with the City of Atlanta, GDOT, to address the landscape on the ramp, and our city staff are addressing the median issue, Rich. So we continue to get support in that arena. Okay, I believe that is it. So again, in respect to everyone's time. Okay, Ms. Janice, we'll definitely get back with you for your volunteer suggestion of you and your grandson assisting us. Rich, were you going to say something?
No, I'm good.
Bobby,
Okay, God. Thank you. I
Bobby,
appreciate that, Ms. Janice.
Bobby,
Yes.
can I say one other thing I wanted to mention before we leave?
Yes, sir.
You know that we have been in the wake of 2 devastating tornadoes.
Mhm.
that have come through our city. And I've been hearing from a lot of people. And as a result of that, and thanks to the council who voted on this to get me to the next level, is creating an emergency management team. And that emergency management team will be housed here in the city, so that when those things come, that team gets together in one location, working with weather, working with state and everybody to get all the information in, because Dr. Ralph can tell you, we get a lot of calls as to what's going on, why the power is going out over here. So we want to make sure that we have that. What I'm doing right now is getting the cost, because there's two ways you can do this. One, you can use the siren approach, where when tornado comes, the siren goes off. Or you can use the telephone, like we do when kids are missing and things of that nature. So I'm just waiting on those two particular costs that we can really start now having a real emergency management team to be housed here in our city that would activate in times of an emergency. And I will be sending out, once I get that, I will be sending out surveys asking the people of the city which would they prefer.
And Mayor, it's excellent, and we're excited about that. But one thing people can do now in times of emergency with tornadoes and storms is Fulton County offers Falcon, which is an alert system that you can get alerts right on your smartphone. Again, if you go to the Connect tab on our website, cityofsouthfultonga.gov, you can connect right there to the Falcon alert system.
Yeah. But I do think we do need some system in our city that allows people to respond directly to us.
Yes, sir. Agreed.
Mayor Edwards.
Yes.
Hi, do you mind if I share with the participants Cascade Road reopening?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Tammy Sattler-Jones, your city manager. I just wanted to share with you that we are anxiously waiting and working on trying to get Cascade Road reopened. Right now, our staff is planning for a reopening to occur on Monday, June the 21st, pardon me, that's Monday, June the 21st. And Mr. Leftwich, if you can share the time. We have long awaited having this project done. Our contractors working as best as they can to do the final guard rails and striping. But needless to say, I think we're going to proceed on with our reopening of that road on Monday, June the 21st.
Yes, ma'am. And we actually completed our site visit this morning, and we are planning a ribbon cutting press event for 9:30 Monday morning. As you well know, those who have traveled through the area, there's not a lot of room on the side of the road for parking. So what we will ask is that everybody park in Trammell Crow Park, which is just up the street, and walk down to the ceremony if you plan to attend. But yes, 9:30. It will be a brief ceremony with remarks from the mayor, from Councilwoman Rowell, and from our Public Works Department, because we want to get to the actual event, cut the ribbon, and get that road open as soon as possible Monday. And
let me commend Dr. Rowell, because I know she's taken a lot of hits when it comes to that bridge, but she's been stalwart and staying in line and knowing what the vision is to get it done, along with the rest of us. And people must understand that when we engage in doing a project, we are just impacted as much as you are. We want that project done, but sometimes things get out of our hands, whether it be the weather, whether it be COVID, whether it be ordering of material. But we never in this city, for 1 minute, stop delivering what we promised. And Dr. Rowell, I want to commend you for just standing there and standing up. And now you're going to come to the end of the tunnel where this bridge is finally going to be open.
We're excited. It's been a long time coming, and the public has been very patient, but like you said, we're all impacted by it. And more importantly, also, not just the residents, but the businesses on either end of Cascade being
Right.
impacted. I think the next step we have to make sure is that we keep those heavy trucks off our road, and that is still an ongoing concern, but Public Works is working on a strategy for that. So just looking forward to opening the road. Thanks, Ms. Sadler Jones, for giving that update.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. Okay, with that, I would just like to close out by saying, let's give our mayor a round hand of applause. And I know we won't be able to hear it, but Mayor, I salute you. I thank you. I thank you, Dr. Rowell, Mr. Gary, Corey, Ms. Tammy, all of the assistance that we, the Cascade Business and Merchants Association, get from this great city called the City of South Fulton. So I want to really give kudos to the first responders. Mayor, I know you addressed that, but specifically to Jacobs and to our police escorts when we're out cleaning the Cascade corridor. We're so very appreciative of that and for your department making sure that happens. And I know Captain Tukes is one of those that's been our cheerleader since day one. And I would like to just give her a shout out as well. Today, I leave even more prouder to be a resident for the city of South Fulton, because it really does allow me an opportunity to live, work, and play. I know that's an old concept, but I still live that out every day, being a resident of the city of South Fulton and also being so connected to our leaders of the city of South Fulton. So Mayor, I thank you for your accessibility, your availability, and for Ms. Dolores always making sure that we get whatever we need to you and her assistance in navigating you to us as well. So with that, Rich, do you have any final comments? I would just like to thank everyone for taking time out of your schedules and for being here with us today.
Oh, no, I'm good. Thank you for all the help that certainly Ms. Baskins and Don gave me in getting this together. I appreciate you.
And I believe I mentioned Jacobs, but if I didn't, I just want to make sure that I include Jacobs as been one of those who are right beside us as we're out there cleaning as well. So thank you for all the great questions and the comments. And with that, Rich, I don't have anything else. I'd just like to say thanks again.
Well, it's all over but the shouting.
All over but the shout. So thank you for all of your assistance and the entire Cascade Business and Merchants Association board. I so appreciate you guys and for helping me continue to lead this organization effectively. So thank you.
All right,
Thank
everyone,
you.
be blessed. All right,
Thank
bye-bye for
you.
now.
Bye-bye.